Today is just another ordinary day for the students here at Rainier High School. Hanging out with friends at lunchtime, worrying about that next test. But 2 years ago, the hazy dawn of April 15th, 1995 would be one that students, teachers, and the community would never forget. The west wing of Rainier High School, known to many students as the Orange Hall, was engulfed in flames. This is a documentation of those events, from tragic beginning to new beginning.
Millions of dollars in damages. Tonight, Oregon State Police investigators work to figure out what started that blaze. As Jim Marr reports, investigators have not ruled out arson.
I mean, teachers collect things and save them and use them, and they're gone.
English teacher Sarah Parkin watches as firefighters pick through the remains of her classroom.
Took hoses in there and
School District Superintendent Gene Carlson says the damage could have been much worse.
And that pretty much stopped the fire from going that way, and then they made every effort to stop it here.
The school's automatic fire alarm never went off. Investigators don't know how long the fire burned before a neighbor spotted the flames at 2:30 this morning.
It was reported by a passerby. We're in an isolated area here, so and they saw a large column of smoke and flame coming from the top of the building, which means it was probably through the roof by then.
About 500 students attend classes here. Money is tight in this small community, but the town is expected to respond.
This is not something that will stop this community. This is something that will make this community respond even higher and even better. They're a terrific group of people.
The school can be rebuilt, but the memories and mementos inside the destroyed classrooms are lost forever.
New textbooks, all personal books. I maybe had 500 novels there that I loaned out to kids. It's all gone.
District officials hope to have portable classrooms in place within a few days, but high school students probably won't be back in class for at least a week. In Rainier, Jim Marr, the 10 o'clock news.
The three-alarm fire destroyed a third of the school's classrooms yesterday. About 500 students attend the school north of St. Helens in Columbia County. School is canceled for the rest of this week, but classes are expected to resume next week.
Morning, it destroyed a third of the school's classrooms. Officials will not say how that fire started, but they say that they do have suspects in this case.
But as Cindy Hamill reports, the blaze didn't destroy the school's spirit. Among the charred remains of a Rainier High School building lies a bit of hope, a sign to move on. And they did. Students went back to school today after a week off when part of the school burned down. Thanks to hard labor, teachers were able to hold classes in temporary bungalows. The subject of the day, healing.
I felt really mad. I wanted to
Students and teachers talked about the fire and took time to grieve and recover what was left from burned out lockers and rooms.
They found my radio. It still works. You have to clean it up.
All my stuff, I only had 3 staplers and one a sheet that I accidentally had in my grade book went home. And that's all I have for 16 or 17 years here.
Social studies teacher Jiggs Burnett watched his class burn.
When I came up, all this right here was on fire.
He says the fact that it was arson makes it tougher.
According to the principal, the fire was started right inside one of these windows. There's not a whole lot left to the inside of this building. And what makes some folks angry around here is the rumor that the person responsible for this may attend the school.
There's a lot of anger there. I mean, you go through the grieving process. One of the things is anger.
Another may be the coming together.
I think that it brought everybody together. Most tragedies, I think a lot of people do that. Everybody unites to help each other out.
Rainier High School is not this building. Rainier High School is us.
In Rainier, Cindy Hamill, the 10 o'clock news.
Local businesses donated much of the furniture and supplies to reopen. Officials hope to have the building rebuilt and open again by next fall.
Hi, I'm talking to Wayne Kostur, the new principal of Rainier High School, and this is the first day of school back after the fire last April, and the rebuilding is still going on. Are you natives to this area, or did you move up here from another state, or are you a native to the Northwest?
I was born and raised in Oregon, down in Salem, Oregon, and my teaching career has been mostly in the state of Oregon. I did a 3-year stint in Texas as a high school band director, and most recently I was the principal at Weston McEwen High School in Athena, Oregon, which is about 20 miles north of Pendleton. So this is kind of like moving home for me.
Now, when was the first time you actually saw the campus up here in Rainier?
My wife and I drove through mid-June after I was notified that they wanted me to come for an interview. We drove by and took a look at the campus and got our first glimpse of Rainier.
I've lived in this area all my life, and so the high school here is kind of like my backyard, and so that's one of the reasons why I've been so involved in covering the Reconstruction. And what can you tell us on the progress of the Reconstruction and how it's going up to today?
Things have moved along pretty steadily. There have been some setbacks with took 8 weeks to get windows after they were ordered, and some other heating and ventilation materials were a little late in arriving. But I'm guessing that it should be 100% completed sometime around the end of October. I'm hoping that we can move in November at the first 9-week break or somewhere in there. It's amazing how fast things go. When I first went in the building, it was just an empty hole, and now there are walls and locker spaces and doors and all sorts of things going in. So I'm guessing that now we'll see things move really quickly as they try and get things done for the end of October.
So have you actually seen the inside? Have they let you personally in there to take a look?
Before we had students up here, I tended to walk through there once every other day or so just to kind of see what was happening and to kind of see the progress. It's different seeing a structure going up with metal studs and those kind of things, so you're not hearing hammers go as much as you are hearing the screw guns put things together. But they've been working really hard, and of course some things they've had to clean up and get ready for the school year, and I think they've done a really good job.
It's amazing how the community has responded to the situation and how quickly they covered for it. And I'm sure you know the school was only out for a week after the incident, and they were right back to work and then got right on it. It was amazing. I think that's one of the things, especially around here in the Northwest, in Rainier. The community really responds to things involving the kids. I want to thank you for your time.
It's been a really interesting fall for me. I was actually offered the position of principal at Rainier High School towards the end of June. And I knew that you all had had a fire earlier in April, and that there was a little, and that there was kind of a mess up there. The first time I saw the building, it was empty. No walls, no roof, no nothing. And in some ways, it was kind of hard for me to understand exactly what had happened. But I know that there was a freshman English class last year that wrote some papers about how they felt right after the fire. And it was really kind of interesting because when you read those, you kind of begin to get a picture. And let me share just a couple. And all I did was take the first sentence of most of these papers. It starts out, shock, disbelief, numb, disgust. These are a few of the emotions I felt after I discovered that a destructive fire had swept through the halls of Rainier High School. Another student writes, no school, fire at Rainier High School. I overheard my mom say this to my sister the morning of April 17th. I couldn't believe it really was true. As the school burned, where were you? Safe and comfortable, most of us were at home asleep while the blazing inferno brought us together yet destroyed many lives. And the last one I'll read. And in a major news story this morning, a gargantuan fire ripped through the west wing of the Rainier High School. On the morning of April 17th, those were the words that first came to my ear. The whole week, many different things were racing through my mind. Who did it? Why did they do it? When will we go back to school? Was anyone hurt? The day we finally returned to school, I noticed that losses were going to be much more than I imagined. But I was surprised and gracious for the amount of donations we received. Today, we're going to do a little ceremony so that you can kind of claim back the west wing of Rainier High School. At this time, Pat Merritt has a few words he'd like to say.
Okay. Last year when the fire happened, I think it's kind of a big shock to everyone. It's kind of something that when you're in grade school and mid school, you're like always kind of hoping the school will burn down, you know. Everyone kind of hopes that they don't have to go, but really when it happened, I think most people were kind of shocked, and they kind of, with me, I kind of like got angry. You know, you wondered who did it and all that, but the thing is, we've waited a long time for this new wing to open up, and I think a lot of us have gotten to walk through it, and we see that it's real nice, and I hope that we'll just be able to enjoy it and not, you know, deface it or anything. We got to keep it looking good, and I guess that's it. Here's Mr. Carlson.
I think that the credit for what has taken place in this facility, belongs to you. It belongs to the staff who've worked hard in difficult circumstances, but again, you've been in those circumstances with them. It belongs to the parents who came and put in literally hundreds, if not thousands of hours immediately after the fire to clean the rooms out, to help get things cleaned. Many of your parents were here doing that. I don't think that any one person can take any kind of credit, because this has been a tremendous community effort in trying to get it back together. And we hope that in the end, what we have is a facility that is better than what was. We have larger classrooms for you. Hopefully it'll be brighter. Y'all will appreciate the green lockers chosen by Mr. Fulton. That's what's called Fulton Green. The administrators call the lockers Fulton Green. So good luck, everybody, and have a good time in that facility.
Life and learning go on here today at Rainier High School, but the memories for the hundreds of students who passed through these doors are gone forever. Thank you for watching.